reaction. Look at that reaction.
What do you say? What do you know? It's the Full Monty Sports Show. It is Super Bowl Sunday, February 13th, 2022. I am your host, Monty Perez, aka the Sports Whisperer. Want to thank you all for tuning in. We have been going nonstop since the second week of August here on the Full Monty Sports Show. And I want to thank everyone who has supported us from basically training camp up until the Super Bowl Sunday, which is today. We have a great show for you. You could follow me on social media. As you can see from our opening, we are now at 250,000 views on TikTok. A couple months ago, I decided that I was going to post 1 or 2 sports videos a day, just like a 45-second clip of my sports takes of the day, clips of this show with all the guests on it. And we are at 250,000 views. So thank you so much. Follow me on TikTok, Monty Perez 231. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Monty Perez, and of course on Twitter, Monty JP231. We have the best guests all across the country. This week is no exception. Okay, for Super Bowl Sunday, we are fired up. We have Brad Ward and Amarie, our Monday night crew. They are joining us on Sunday. And of course, with the Rams in the Super Bowl, it would not be a show unless we had George Lopes joining us. So he will join us in about 15 minutes. Good morning, everyone. I know everyone's fired up. A lot of people are upset that it is Super Bowl Sunday. Yes, Greg. Yes, I'm wearing a shirt and tie. I'm wearing a shirt and tie. People said they already have their, morning drinks available, mimosas and all that stuff. Yes, I am wearing a shirt and tie. Love the chat room. Keep them coming. A lot of people have really missed Amarie and Brad, so they will be joining us along again with George Lopes. But we start each show with the good, the bad, and the funny. We start each show with the good, the bad, and the funny. Let's start with the good. Let's start with the good. Now, I struggle on a daily basis. Every day I struggle. My inner monologue is if I worked out this morning, you could have done more. If I go through a day where I work a job, I work out, I write an article, I do some videos, you could have done more. 250,000 views on TikTok should be at 500,000. So I struggle every day with giving myself credit. And part of that is I have not reached my goals yet. I work hard to try to reach them and I will reach them, but I'm not there yet. So I'm constantly grinding myself and really not satisfied with anything I do. So when we see teams like the Milwaukee Bucks who won a championship, right? They go out and they get a Grayson Allen. Okay, now a lot of people don't like him, dirty player, but he's contributing. They go out now and they get Serge Ibaka, right? This is a team that won the NBA championship last year. Okay, what did they do after they lost in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference? They went out and they got a PJ Tucker. Right? They lose PJ Tucker, and now you have like a similar player with a little more offense and a better rebounder. Now, Serge Ibaka's not an elite defender, but on any given night, he can be your so-called bruiser. He can commit fouls. He can get you 15 and 8. And my point is, so many people, once they reach the pinnacle of success in organizations, they rest on their laurels. They think it's enough. That's why I have respect for Tom Brady. I have respect for LeBron James. People who win and they're constantly evolving and getting better in their craft. The Milwaukee Bucks aren't satisfied with one title. And getting Serge Ibaka proves that they're not resting on their laurels. They're not saying, hey, we won one championship. That's good enough for Milwaukee. By the way, the Bucks are playing great now. Their big three of Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Giannis are probably the best three in the league right now. So props to them for going for it. I really respect people who are grinders, even though they've succeeded. And, this organization for years was mediocre at best. And they go out, they make a big splash at the trading deadline, something that we'll get into later. The Lakers did not do. Okay, so that's the good. Now let's get to the bad. I don't know what's going on in this country. But Alvin Kamara, in case you haven't heard, the running back of the Saints was arrested for apparently beating the hell out of this man. The man posted a video. Alvin Kamara and a few people jumped this guy. I don't know what happened. I don't know what caused this, but we are too quick nowadays to just punch someone for disagreeing with you. I saw a video here in Florida, of course, Florida, where these neo-Nazis were out celebrating their hatred of white people, and this person came up and had an LGBTQ flag, and they beat the hell out of him. They beat the hell out of him because he was different. Every day, if you just scroll down the news, there's assault, there's battery. We just saw at the Super Bowl party, Justin Bieber, Kodak Black got shot with 4 other people. What are we doing as a society, man? Alvin Kamara, what are you doing? What are you doing? Beating the hell out of someone with your friends. You're a professional football player, dude. Walk away. Doesn't make you a man to jump someone and beat them up with 2 of your friends, 3 of your friends. Walk away. Walk away. I say this all the time. You can say whatever you want to me out into the street. It doesn't matter. If I don't know you, I could care less what you say. If you attack me and get in my face or put your hands on me, then I'm going to react. Right? Sticks and stones may break my bones. Names will never hurt. I mean, they got into an argument and then they just start beating up this guy. America is way too quick now. Just go to YouTube, go to TikTok, go to Twitter. There's a fight every day. What are we doing? Get a life. Alvin Kamara, shame on you. Shame on you. You should know better. You should know better. Okay, so that's the good, the bad. Now to the funny. So I want you to imagine you own an art boutique. Millions of dollars worth of paintings. You have security guards there 24 hours a day to make sure your paintings are safe. Well, the security company calls you and says, hey, we're starting a new guy overnight. He's really good. He's worked for us for a while. And what happens is that you come in the next day and the picture on the left was the painting and the picture on the right now has eyes because the security guard who started his first day at work got bored working the overnight shift and he put eyes on these paintings, which cost $750,000 in damage. $750,000 in damage. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And this was not a disgruntled employee. This was not someone who, he just said, I got bored. I got bored and I wanted to see the paintings with eyes. And here's the worst part. What did he think was going to happen? He's the only security guard there. Did he think they were going to come in and not notice? $750,000 worth of damage. $750,000 worth of damage. Is that insane? He painted eyes on this. Wow, George is fired up here. He's been up since 5:30 waiting for kickoff, which kind of brings me to my next point before we get Amarie, George, and Brad on. Okay, kind of brings me to my next point. So we are all going to watch the Super Bowl today, right? Everyone watching this show, everyone, everyone involved, even the casual fan is going to watch the Super Bowl. But I've been saying this for years. The Super Bowl should not be played on Sunday. The Super Bowl should be played on Saturday. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. First off, the day after the Super Bowl is one of the least productive days in the workforce. If you work on the East Coast, you stay up late, you watch the games, you have a couple cocktails, food, maybe you're out. You don't go to bed to 12, 1 o'clock. It's one of the most called out days in the workforce. Okay? So you go to a Super Bowl party, you're having a good time, and then what happens? You go to work and you are just miserable, right? You're miserable. Now, the argument is, oh, it's got to be on Sunday because it's tradition, Monte. It's tradition. Stop with that BS. the NFL doesn't give a rat's ass about tradition, and neither do you. Because if you did, there'd be no Monday night football games. There'd be no Thursday night games. Okay? The wild card, okay? The Raiders were a Super Bowl winner. There's been 7 teams who were the wild card and then became a Super Bowl winner. The Steelers wouldn't have a ring. The Giants wouldn't have a ring. Many people might like this, but last year's Tampa Bay Bucks wouldn't have a ring. So stop with this BS that we can't change the Super Bowl to Saturday because it's tradition. If you have it on a Saturday, it's real simple. People will not go home after the game's over, right? You have more extended post-game coverage. And here's the best thing. On Sunday, you replay the game for an hour, the best moments of the game, and then you interview the winning players and teams. So you have 2 days of coverage. Right now, once the Super Bowl is over, that's it, right? That's it. Super Bowl's over, you leave, and people go to work on Monday. They don't care about the highlights. They don't care. You're now getting 2 days of Super Bowl coverage. Think about that. The following Sunday, the next Sunday, you run an hour recap. So stop with this BS that, we can't play the Super Bowl on Sunday because it's tradition. You make it a weekend thing. People don't have to worry about going to bed on Sunday because they have to get up for work or they have to call out, which again, Super Bowl, the day after the Super Bowl is one of the most called out days in the workforce. So I don't want to hear that it's tradition. Yeah. World Series games all used to be daytime. Now, they can't do that now because they want ratings, but you gotta, George, people, it would be great. You got another day. The Super Bowl should not be played on Sunday. And this weak-ass argument that I've written articles about this. I used to talk about this on my radio show in New Jersey, and people would call in and be like, hey, man, you got to respect the tradition. Well, then why do we have a wild card? Why do we have a 2-point conversion? Why do we have different overtime rules? So this notion that the Super Bowl has to be played on Sunday is BS. Play it on Saturday. Let people enjoy themselves. But in the fourth quarter, I had a party. The last big party I had was Seattle versus the Patriots. And as most exciting ending ever, Russell Wilson throws the interception. And what happens? People are like, got to go, man. Got to get up for work. Because it's on a Sunday. Make it a Saturday, man. Make it a Saturday. The NBA has changed, too. The NBA used to do their primetime games at 9 o'clock. Now they try to start them at 8:30, right? I understand that I used to love living out in L.A., right? Sunday, my day off, before I started doing these shows, I'd go to the sports bar at 10. I'd have breakfast. I'd watch the 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then go home at 4 o'clock for the 8 o'clock game on the East Coast, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock West Coast. By 8 o'clock, you're done. So I really believe that the NFL, who makes changes all over the place, okay, they don't care about tradition, okay? I really believe that the Super Bowl should be played on Saturday. Give us your comments here in the chat room. We are so excited to have these 3 guys, 2 guys on, and Amarie. Amarie has been missed. She's been, busy going to Vegas, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Brad Ward, our Amarie, our Monday night host, and of course George Lopez. Let's bring them all on. Amarie, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
I miss you so much.
We've missed you. Every week I'm like, how's Amarie doing? What's going on? I'm like, look, she's busy. She's working all the time.
I'm a dream in this. I love the radio world. So you can catch me on the radio Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. All over the place. Sorry, I'm adjusting my.
Yeah, I do it on the TuneIn Radio app. I listen to it on my computer one time at work. So we are definitely supporting you and listening to you.
Monte, you look so nice.
Oh, well, it's Super Bowl, so I figured I'd, dress up a little bit. It's pouring rain here, so I wanted to go out and run and get some more color. Let's bring on our other co-hosts right here. Brad Ward, the threesome is back. How are you, Brad?
We're back.
Hey guys,
how's it going?
I'm good. Did I miss the memo? Should I have, Did I not? Should I have worn a tie? I missed the memo.
Brad, you bring class to the show. I have to dress up because I have no class, so you bring class to the show. So whatever you wear is fine with me. And of course, George in his LA gear, been up since 5:30 this morning.
Good luck, buddy.
I agree, man. Monte, is there a job interview I didn't know about?
Oh, look at this. The Sports Diva is back, Amarie. There you go.
Oh,
nickname.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brad, welcome back.
Monte, before you go, have you seen the pictures Rico's posting? I mean, I really feel bad for him. He looks miserable at those Hall of Fame parties.
So, Brad and Amarie, Rico, who does our betting every week, his mother-in-law won 2 free tickets to the Super Bowl. She could not go. So Rico is posting on Facebook all of his he's at the Hall of Fame dinner, all these parties. I mean, he's meeting everyone under the sun. So hopefully, Rico, you will get us some guests for this show because he's going to all the events, and he has lower tier seats for the Super Bowl, a shuttle that takes him back and forth to all the events.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, he just looks miserable this whole time. I feel bad for him.
Good for him.
He is loving life right now. Okay, so no, I did not let people know about the dress code. Listen, people come on my. Here's the deal. All these people have knowledge and personality. I have to do everything to improve myself. So that's why I'm wearing this today. I don't have the personality these guys have. So
I'm so excited for you, George.
That's such nonsense.
So I'm so excited for you.
Oh,
George,
yeah. I'm excited and nervous.
Listen. I'm going to say this to you. It doesn't happen often. You're lucky, George. So stop with the woe is me fandom. Okay, the Lakers won a championship 2 years ago. Your Dodgers won a title. This is the second Super Bowl in 3 years. I don't want to hear this I'm nervous BS. Okay, because LA is thriving when it comes to sports.
No, but it's a good nervous. You can't go in there arrogant thinking, it's going to be a cakewalk for the Rams, because it's not. It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a tough game. You can't sleep on Cincinnati. I mean, Brad, I know you see them a lot more than I do being a Cleveland fan. So you understand what I'm talking about. If the Rams win in with that attitude, the game's already over before it starts. Then the game's over and Joe Burrow's going to walk away with a ring.
Okay, we're going to get into all the Super Bowl stuff. We're going to get into a bunch of that. But we're going to start doing more NBA shows here. So I want to give us a little preview here. First of all, Amarie, I want to talk about the Timberwolves because they've come out of nowhere. There was a lot of talk that they'd be better, but let's face it, they've been mired in mediocrity and they haven't been a good team. What has changed this year? Because they're going to make the playoffs.
Well, they did make the playoffs in the 2017-2018 season, and before that, it was 2004. So, they just keep improving, and the thing I love about the Timberwolves is they have depth. They have the bench, all their players are playing well. Karl Anthony Towns, though, he's a low profile player, but this guy is a star. He's a great leader, and he has a lot of great players around him. So I think they're a sleeper. Like, you can't sleep on the Timberwolves. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a great team.
They really impress me, Amarie. And what I like is like you said, they have a good mix of youth and veterans. And everyone wants to talk about Joel Embiid and Jokic, maybe because he's in Minnesota. But Karl Anthony Towns is not far behind those guys.
And Anthony Edwards is young. He's a star. And then they got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley. I mean, and they just have like a lot of players, and they just work well together. So, and they obviously have a new coach this year that's working out well, which I know you wanted to ask me about. But yeah, so I'm pretty stoked for the Timberwolves.
And people are asking, is that a Minnesota Vikings shirt you're wearing?
No, it's my Super Bowl shirt. Sunday Funday.
Super Sunday.
See, Amarie, I like you, so I can't make a comment about the Vikings because I have a dig for it. But my older son's a Viking. I have a lot of Viking friends.
Oh,
but I'm not going to make the dig. I'm going to be. I don't want the bad karma. I don't want the bad karma today.
Why? Because I'm taking one of your coaches.
Oh no, I'm glad you guys got him. You guys are going to get a hell of a coach.
Oh well, now suspense has been built up. You got to dig.
Oh no, I tell my older son that the Vikings will never go back to a Super Bowl as long as they play in a dome. I call it the curse of Odin because they're playing.
Why is that?
Because if any team should be playing outdoors, taking advantage of the weather, is the
Vikings.
Good
point.
No. No one in Minnesota wants to play in that weather. I don't know.
But I think that they should take advantage of it, and it's more like I like to give turn that knife a little bit on my son because he's rooting for the Vikings. So I have to give him a little dig here and there.
Hey,
So
man,
I showed,
being calm.
I
Feel free
showed
to
him
come
the
back.
last Super Bowl the Vikings played in. Super Bowl 11.
Yeah, I wasn't
I'm
alive
like,
yet before the 4
yes,
losses, but
I tell Christian, I was younger than you the last time they played. I go, there was no cell phone, there was no Xbox, and he just gives me this look like he wants to tell me, yeah, but you lived in black and white time.
So wait, George. So you're mentally abusing your son? Like, is that what we just witnessed right here?
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's one of the perks of being a dad.
all right, Brad. Let's move to your Cleveland Cavs. Love this team. Fourth
Yeah.
place in the
Great
Eastern
team.
Conference. Can I make the argument, Brad, that the reason why the Cavs are finally good again is because their young players were not under any pressure, and the organization did something that most organizations do. They let them develop.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I honestly, I think what kind of changed everything was the Mobley, like hitting on Mobley, because he just turned out to be mature beyond his years, right? And a much better player than a lot of people expected him to be. Immediately impacted them on both ends of the floor, and that just kind of made everything fall into place because the offseason acquisition of Lauri Markkanen, which really nobody paid attention to, gave them the really long front court, right? And Markkanen has played well. He's injured right now. He'll be back soon, but. And they've had a lot of injuries too. Sexton goes down. Ricky Rubio's having a career year. He gets hurt, and they're still 35-22, Monty. I mean, that is unbelievable. Nobody could have expected that at the beginning of the year. And they're so much fun to watch. It's not ISO ball. They move the ball around. They play really good defense. So it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I've seen about 10 games this year. And again, what a shame about Ricky Rubio because people were talking about him as comeback player of the year. He basically was the leader in that locker room, right? Before he got hurt.
He was, and you got to give credit, though. They did a good job at the trade deadline. They went out and got Karis LeVert to keep them relevant. They need another ball handler, somebody that can create on his own. He's a terrific player, you know what I mean? And adding him to the equation has kept them in it, able to. His impact has only really been felt in one game so far since he's been traded, but I think that it was a key add, especially at the trade deadline. They with LeVert, Garland has really come on. Like, he has been phenomenal, making his first All-Star team and everything like that. And obviously with Allen and Mobley up front, now Karis LeVert gets added in. I don't think you'll see Sexton back this year. But they were talking about him maybe coming back in the playoffs. Sexton, it was almost like a blessing. You never hope anybody to get hurt. But he's really developed some bad habits. Like he was young on bad teams and took tons of bad shots because he had to, right? And that's kind of what happens to these young players when they're on really bad teams is they develop some bad habits. And Sexton has some. When he went down, Rubio really stepped up, and that was when he was having his, a career year. But now they add LeVert in, and I think they're good. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks at full strength.
Yeah,
they had a tough back-to-back last night against Philadelphia and lost. Philly's going to be a team to reckon with certainly in the East. But the East is really good, and Cavs were in second last night. They're in fourth, tied for third today. So 35-22 is beyond anything I could have imagined. So
you bring up 35-22, and I could make the argument now that with Mobley and Allen, you're going to get 40 and 20 for those two bigs, right? I mean, this is like a really good, long, big, good rebounding guys who could put up some points. So your two bigs can get you 40 and 20 on any given night combined.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get Kevin Love off the bench for 25 minutes, and he, all he does is shoot the ball well and rebound. He's in there. He's very efficient when he's in there. He'll get 10 rebounds a night off the bench. So their bigs are very quality, and bigs that are this kind of NBAs, the kind of bigs you want for this kind of NBA.
Yeah, exactly. Very versatile. All right, George, we're going to get to the Super Bowl talk in a minute and NFL talk, but I said in the opening, I admire teams that even though they're successful, they go for it, right? They go for it. When the Lakers traded for Anthony Davis, I said it's a great move. They won a ring. But them not doing anything at the trading deadline is absolutely disgusting. This isn't Portland, right? Where Portland cleaned house and nobody cares because there's no media there, right? No one wants – Damian Lillard should get the hell out of Dodge. I've said that 2 years ago because no free agents going to Portland. There's nothing to do up there. But what the hell are the Lakers doing? They're terrible. They have all these veterans that could go somewhere and sign. And they don't sign anyone.
I'm looking at Amarie, and she's holding that laugh, and she was waiting to let it go.
It's disgusting, George. It's disgusting.
It's beyond disgusting when you have former Laker great James Worthy saying that the Lakers have a bunch of local YMCA players on the roster. He actually said, and this is a guy who works for the Lakers during the pregame show and the postgame show on Fox Sports over here, and he actually came out and said it. I wish I knew what they were doing. I really do. I think it's bad karma because of what they did to Jerry West. I mean, they took his season tickets away. You don't do that to the icon. You don't do it to the guy
for those who don't know, Jerry West, who's the NBA logo. When you see the basketball, it's Jerry West. Was part of the Lakers organization forever. He leaves, goes work for other people, and they basically took his season tickets away via text through his wife. This is what the Lakers did to a guy who really built up all those Laker dynasties. So, but George, let's forget about the karma and all that stuff. This can't all be Frank Vogel's fault. I got to look at this management. We all saw Russell Westbrook coming into the Lakers and said, this is a terrible fit. This is horrible.
Terrible. Before that trade was made, they had a deal in place to get Heald out of Sacramento, and Pelinka at the last minute backed out and made the deal for Westbrook. Westbrook puts up great numbers, but the problem is he's an alpha male. He wants to be the man, and he can't be the man on this team, and it doesn't work. I thought, everyone wants to trade Westbrook. No one's going to pick up that contract. That's the problem.
It's not just Westbrook either, though. It's just
they're
a disaster.
The players that they picked up, the only one I've been really high about is Monk. I think he fits well with LeBron. He complements him well. But yeah, this team, it's got to the point where I'd rather listen to it on the radio than watch him play.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gotten that frustrating.
Listen to some of these names, though. I mean, they just threw this roster together. I mean, seriously. Trevor Ariza. Is he 45 years old now? Kent Bazemore, Avery Bradley. Come on. I mean, this guy has been around and is terrible, in my opinion. Sorry, I mean, if you're high on Avery, apologize to all the Avery Bradley fans out there. Taylor Horton Tucker, Wayne Ellington. You still got Dwight Howard on this team. DeAndre Jordan. Kendrick Nunn, is he hurt? I don't know what's the deal is with him.
Yeah, I do like the young kid out of Oklahoma. What's his name?
Reeves?
Is that? Yeah, I do like him.
Reeves. He's a scrapper. I like him.
Yeah. And the whole thing with Westbrook is like, I don't think he can be the guy anywhere. He's just not. He's not an efficient basketball player, right? He's just out of control. He's just out of control.
Well, the problem with Westbrook,
I see him as like how many triple doubles can I get this year?
Exactly.
I think he's more. He's a Laker, but I think he's more concerned with that than winning games. Well, I don't think he cares about the ring.
But here's the problem with Westbrook, right? He's a terrible decision maker. So in the fourth quarter, he can't defend the pick and roll. He's as bad as Steph Curry at that. He turns the ball over, and he can't shoot the three. And not just that.
Their overall defense is bad.
Their defense, which it shouldn't be because they're very long. But go to YouTube and just watch Russell Westbrook's bad decisions or shots. He had a game this year. Seriously, he had a game this year where he hit the side of the backboard in the corner. He hit the top of the backboard and then shot an air ball. I mean,
isn't that the game when they were playing on the PA like another brick in the wall or something like that?
But I mean, it's horrible, George. It's horrible, and they did nothing.
It's beyond horrible. I mean, L.A., Dr. Buss, God rest his soul, but there's no way this would be happening under Dr. Buss's watch. I still think Jeannie is a tremendous owner. I just think she made some mistakes, and Rob Pelinka deserves the majority of the blame for this.
Hey, Marie, should we smile when you take that picture?
Yeah, people were wondering what we're doing.
Let us know next time. We'll
We'll
Put
do
up
it. We'll
some,
do a
cool
selfie before we
poses.
leave.
Cool poses. All right, Amarie, let's get back to this, and then we're going to get to the football talk. Listen,
Oh,
I didn't even know who this guy was. I thought he was like a 52-year-old British soap star.
are you
right?
serious?
Yeah, I had no idea who Chris Finch was.
But he's been in the league for a while, and he's been recognized as a top offensive-minded coach. He's been with the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Pelicans, the Raptors, and now the Timberwolves. So I think he's doing a pretty decent job.
From what I've read, from what I've seen, players love this guy right away.
Yep. So it's a fit for the Timberwolves. And like I said, he's known to be offensive-minded, so I just think it's clicking there in Minnesota.
So what's the ceiling for this team? What's the thought process for the Timberwolves fans? Is it like, hey, man, let's get to the playoffs and then we build next year? Or is it like, if we get the right matchup, we can make a run?
Maybe I don't know if you know this, Monte, but Minnesota fans, we don't get our hopes up for any of our teams, maybe except for the WNBA. So let's just enjoy this while we can. You know what I'm saying?
No, I feel that.
We have such this is fun. This is fun. No, but
Good strategy.
like I said, I like being on the low. I like low profile teams. Like, oh shoot, Timberwolves are good. Like, I want to stay low off the radar. You know what I mean? So a sleeper team could make a run, but at the end of the day, it's a team in Minnesota, so let's not get our hopes up.
Listen, it's a good way to be, especially if you're, Brad and I who like the Browns, the Jets. I root for the Knicks. And thank you for saying, because people are starting to drink now. You said at the end of the day.
I'm waiting a little bit.
There you go. All right, Brad. I was not a fan of JB Bickerstaff. I thought it was a recycled coach. 112 and 197 going into this season, but he's doing something right. What's the difference?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I just heard an interview with him the other day. He preaches a lot. Here's what I'll say. It's hard to really evaluate from a distance, right? But to get this team to play at the level they have is pretty impressive. I always kind of liked the guy. I just wasn't sold that he was a great coach until, this year. And I just still don't think this makes him a great coach, but he's doing a hell of a job this year. I would say that him getting Kevin Love to embrace a bench role and become a leader was like step one, right? So by doing that, it kind of changed the dynamic of the locker room, and you can start Mobley, and all the roles kind of fell into place, right? And him getting them to commit to defense the way they have, to be a top 3 defense with all those young players, I think is pretty impressive for a head coach in this position.
That to me is amazing, because when you think of young players, right, they don't buy into defense right away. But it seems like everyone. And was there a veteran on that team who really, like you said, Rubio? But was there someone else? I mean, maybe Kevin Love was never a great defender, but did he? Did someone really side with your head coach right away and kind of be the voice in the locker room when he's not there?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think it's just it was Love and Rubio along the way. They have Rondo in there now, who I guess is really helping Garland a lot. And you've seen the improvement in his play. But as far as defensively, they just naturally, because of the length that's on the floor, with Mobley is a very good defender, and right away, and Allen is a good defender as well. But the length that with those two, and then you get Markkanen out there, and Okoro is although not a very good offensive player, it can guard your other team's best player every night. So,
and one of the things,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. One of the things the Lakers had, to your point, when they won in the bubble, is they just had length and rim protectors. You got 2 or 3 rim protectors now, right? And what did Pat Riley used to say? No rebounds, no rings. If you have Love, you have Allen, you have the young rookie, you're getting 30 rebounds a game on a good day with those 3 guys.
So where do they have Mobley playing, Brad? Is he playing the 4 or 5?
He's playing the 4, only the 4, yeah. And he shoots the ball pretty well from the outside. So he's they have really good spacing. Allen's been terrific this year. That pickup was huge for this franchise. You know what I mean? So he's been fantastic. He got dominated by Embiid last night, but who isn't right now? So
Embiid had a monster dunk from the foul line.
Oh my gosh!
All right, George. So is Frank Vogel coming back next year? Is it dead man walking, so to speak? Because I don't know if I don't think LeBron or Frank Vogel come back. I could see LeBron coming back because for his brand, his business, LeBron has more stuff now off the court than he does on. Where does this team go at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think Frank Vogel's out. I think the writing's on the wall, and I don't put any blame on him for what's going on. The players that came back that they had when they won the championship in the bubble, like Dwight Howard, he's a shell of what he was 2 years ago. It's just the players that they brought in. Jeannie Buss said it was, well, we have to look at, we're up against the cap. We're kind of restricted on who we can bring in. They just don't have the right players for what Frank Vogel likes to do. He's a defensive-minded coach, and they can't play defense to save their lives. I don't see LeBron leaving. I really don't. Like you said, his brand, he's better suited here. I don't see him leaving AD, but they need to revamp this roster. They got to make changes. They're not going to go younger, but they got to get the right veterans who understand the roles. And that's what made them successful 2 years ago. Players that came in knew what their roles were, and they embraced it. You're not seeing it this year. The only one I really think that they brought in that's embracing his role is Carmelo. And
George,
I'm actually been very impressed with him.
George, but you say they can't go younger, right? Okay, I say this
Not that
all
they
the
can't,
time.
they won't.
They won't. Okay, because
LeBron
I say this
won't
all the
go
time.
younger.
It doesn't matter what market you're in, because let's be honest, if the Lakers were all young and all rookies and they had the same record they had now, the Lakers home court would be sold out because they're watching these young guys develop. You don't have to win right away, but they say that the Mets and Jets always say, "Oh, we can't rebuild." Well, you sucked for 30 years. What do you mean you can't rebuild? Like the Jets for the longest time would always sign these overpriced players, and they haven't been to a Super Bowl since 1969.
Yeah, no, in LA you have to win, especially the Lakers. You have to win. Yes,
but
people
they're not
are still
winning
going to
now,
go to
and they didn't win last year.
Yeah, but people will go to the games. A lot of them will go when they're not winning. What celebrities are going to be there? They want to go celebrity watch. But the true fans like myself, my family, they have to win.
Brad?
And for those prices they charge for those tickets, you better win.
I know you mentioned that you can't get off the Westbrook contract, and I know it's like the worst contract in basketball. But I did hear rumors at the trade deadline about the Knicks, and it was like a deal that would have included like Kemba and Alec Burks and some of the, guys that are playing poorly in New York with big contracts. I think I would have made that move if I were the Lakers, if I could have pulled the trigger. If you could have got Westbrook out for Kemba and Burks and some of those pieces, I think I would have tried to do that.
Oh,
I agree with you. I agree 1,000%. I mean, let's be honest. This is a good point. Russell has always. Everyone leaves Russell Westbrook, right? Kevin Durant left him. James Harden left him. People get better when Russell Westbrook leaves. He does. And Amarie, people want to know what you're drinking. Is that Bailey's in your you're on mute. You're on mute. Amarie, you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
What?
I'm drinking coffee.
Oh, okay.
It's not drinking time, it's work time, and then fun later.
All right. Okay, let's switch to the NFL right now, and then I'll talk to Brad at the end of the show regarding the 76er Nets trade, because I think the Sixers got robbed, but Brad disagrees with me 100%. We'll save that. We'll save that to the end.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
You know what? Let's just do it right now. Here's my take, Brad, and then I'll get your take on it. So you're sending James Harden to the Nets, right? To the 76ers. And you're putting James Harden, who has failed and underachieved in the playoffs, with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers has lost 29 games in the playoffs when his team has a chance to win Game 4 and close out the playoffs. So you're getting two guys who underachieved. Now, what did the Nets get? The Nets got Ben Simmons, who, say what you want about him, when he's healthy, is 14-9 and an elite defender. You're getting Curry, Seth Curry, who's a very good defender and one of the best three-point shooters, and you're getting something the Nets haven't had since they had those big three. You're getting a legitimate low-post rebounder, shot blocker, and defender. The Nets got three starters, two potential all-stars for James Harden, who's underachieved in the playoffs, for a coach who's underachieved in the playoffs. How did the Nets win that, Brad?
All right, wait, so Doc Rivers won 2 titles, right?
One.
One.
One in Boston, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you say he underachieves in the playoffs. He's a good coach. I mean,
Right.
come on. All right. And you took a player that he would not play for them. Okay, he would not play for this team. So you took a 0, a nothing on your roster, and got back an A+ star in the NBA. How is that a loss?
Well, because when he plays, okay, when Simmons plays, he's a bona fide all-star. You're
But
basically
he would
giving
not
up,
play for them.
right. But I don't
What choice
like
did they have?
Well, they could have traded with a bunch of other teams. I think that if you want to give up Drummond because you have Embiid your center in Philly, that's fine. But then you're giving up a very good defender and a very good 3-point shooter. You gave up 3 starters for Harden.
Listen, I agree. The one piece that I didn't like in the trade, if I was 76ers, is I wouldn't have wanted to give up Seth Curry, right? Because I get that, right? I feel like that was a concession they probably didn't want to give up. But you had to get this deal done. You cannot have a guy that won't play for your team, who is one of your biggest pieces, refusing to play. They got back a stud. And you can say what you want about Harden. You can say he's underperformed in the playoffs, this and that. He also has had really huge games in the playoffs. He will, at some point, these guys have to step up, right? So put him and Embiid in the pick and roll. You've got Tobias Harris. Tyrese Maxey is a terrific point guard coming on right now. I really like their team. I think they get another buyout piece for their bench because their bench is a little weak. But I think that when you put Harden and Embiid together, I think that's a terrific combination.
But the way I see this, Monte, the problem with Harden is he's a little prima donna. If things go a little wrong, he starts to pout. I want out of here. He tries to force his way out of any team if it doesn't go exactly the way he wants to. He doesn't want to. He did it with Houston. He's doing it with the Nets. Too?
Can we mention this?
I think he gets a bad rap on that. He's been in some tough situations, right, where other people left first. Well, like Houston, that wasn't his fault, right?
No, D'Antoni. Okay. But there were rumors that James Harden was always late to practice, always late for the bus, always late for film. But that's on the coach. The coach, D'Antoni, let that happen. I will say this.
Brooklyn isn't his fault. That's Kyrie's fault. And Durant,
I agree with that. I agree with that. But we're forgetting the most important part to this. Doc Rivers traded his son-in-law. Seth Curry is married to Doc Rivers' daughter.
Who cares? It's business, man. You cannot business. Take that into account. This is the NBA.
What I'm saying is, you want to trade Simmons and Drummond for Harden, I'm all for it. You bring a guy who's 15 points a game, an elite shooter, and a very good defender. They gave up too much, Brad. That's all I'm saying.
Sure, but you kind of had to do it because he won't play.
Okay.
My concerns about Simmons is, we know, there were some mental issues, one of the reasons he walked out of Philadelphia, but how is he going to handle that media in New York? Because that media is no joke. That's my concern.
It's a little different, Brooklyn covering the Knicks. The Knicks have probably, I think, 10 more beat writers than Brooklyn has. Brooklyn is still a lot like the Clippers, the second fiddle. But, yeah, you are right. And let me just say this.
Philly's tough, too, though. Philly's
very tough.
But I think it's more the fans in Philly that are tougher than the media.
Well, I will say this. If someone posted this, and it's a good point. Here's the problem with coming out and saying you have mental health issues, because when they see Ben Simmons out enjoying himself, they say, "Oh, I thought this guy had mental problems. Why isn't he depressed?" Like, that's why people don't come out and say it. I know Kevin Love has suffered from depression, and he's been a spokesman for that, right, Brad, in Cleveland?
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a lot for that, making awareness on mental health.
Okay,
stuff.
Brad, you bring up a very good point. I still disagree with you, but I totally understand what you're saying about Harden.
I will say this, though. I do think that what is really intriguing from this, although on the other side of the trade, is that Brooklyn, I think in the regular season, they'll probably play Drummond or whoever at center, right? But I think in the playoffs, you're going to see them go with a Simmons-Durant front court and like a real kind of a hybrid offense with
Kyrie,
those two.
Harris and Curry.
Yes, Kyrie, Harris, Curry as shooters surround the pick and roll with using Durant and Simmons if Simmons plays, but play Simmons at the 5.
Yeah.
You can't have him as an off-ball guard because he's nothing as an off-ball guard. You'll just have somebody sagging with one foot in the key all day long, right, in the playoffs when the basketball changes. So I think in the playoffs they change their strategy and he goes to play 5. I think you can play him as a 5 and he'll be effective on offense.
Brad, that is a phenomenal take, my friend. Very smart. No, it's great because I agree. Because I agree with you, just because you can't have Westbrook or Simmons play the 2 or small forward because when elite point guards drive and kick it to them, they're not shooting a 3. Let them play down low. Great point.
Yeah.
Okay, Amarie, let's get you back involved here.
No, I to watch.
All right, here we go. Can you win with Kirk Cousins, or are we done with him in Minnesota?
Oh, my God. Yes, you can win with Kirk Cousins. When will this end? Yes.
Well, hey, Marie, my oldest son would beg to differ.
Oh, here we go.
No. He's a Viking fan. He would beg to differ. He was never happy they signed him.
Why?
Yeah. This conversation has leaked into Cleveland as well.
Yeah, you would have to ask him that question, but he was adamant. Why did they sign him? They need to get rid of him.
When they immediately signed him, but they haven't enjoyed how he's developed as a quarterback?
No, he's never been on board with that signing.
You like him, Amarie. You like him.
I think he's a good fit in what O'Connell's going to bring.
Do I think he's an MVP quarterback like Brady, Rodgers, all these guys? No, but he can get the job done. He's on the tier with we're at such a difficult place with Kirk Cousins because he has one more year on the contract, or we can get all crazy and trade him for whatever. But I like Kirk Cousins, and we can win with Kirk Cousins.
He put up great numbers this year.
Of course he did.
And last year he did. Last year he did too.
It's not just the quarterback. You can win without an MVP quarterback.
But you need a defense.
Well,
okay, but that's a whole different. Our defense has been struggling for a couple of years, injuries, yada yada yada. But now we're gonna have a new coach, so that's a whole new era starting, which is very exciting.
And I will say this, Amarie, we saw what the Vikings were when Kirk Cousins missed the game. They were horrible.
Well, that was yes. Our defense, but our defense just wasn't. Our defense hasn't been what it's been for years.
Yeah. I'll say this, Justin Jefferson puts up amazing numbers now. He's going to put up even better numbers in this system. He's going to.
Of course, he's going to. We have a young boy genius, offensive mindset. We're going to lean on Dalvin Cook. We're still going to have Dalvin Cook, but he's going to utilize not just Justin Jefferson. We have a lot of amazing receivers. Don't forget about Adam Thielen, our boy, KJ Osborne. Irv Smith Jr. is going to be back. Tyler Conklin's filled up. We have so many weapons. It's insane. And we have depth at the running game.
Amarie, your energy level just went so up. Talk about your new coach. I got to tell you, we're looking
Brad.
at.
Yes, Brad.
We're looking at the McVay tree. We're looking at the Shanahan tree. I mean, people are just picking all these young coaches. Talk about them. Go ahead, Brad. You want to say something first?
I was going to say, this Cousins conversation has leaked into Cleveland when they hired the Browns.
Yes.
Kwesi Adolphus-Mensah as their GM. Browns got 2 third-round conditional picks out of it because of the
Rooney Rule.
Whatever that is. Yeah, the garbage trash rule that's not working in the NFL. But
you mean the big loophole?
The big loophole. And then, but anyways, they hired him. He's a very smart guy, but when they hired him, all of a sudden now the Kirk Cousins rumors
and we're gonna get
come up in Cleveland, right, for the trade. So now the question is, is that worth it? And then Garoppolo's in there too. It's just a nonstop talk of mediocre quarterbacks in Cleveland.
Right,
it's really insane.
Right. So it's a very interesting time for NFL quarterbacks too. So you got the Kirk Cousins, the Jimmy G's, the Carson Wentz, the Baker Mayfield, and then you got the new generation, Tua, Jalen, Mac Jones, and then you have the veteran quarterbacks who can decide where they're going or if they're leaving or if they're retiring. So what I have is enough to win. And Kirk Cousins is playing in his prime. This is his prime. So maybe and he loves our new coach. And O'Connell worked with him in Washington. And I just think they love each other. When quarterback and coach love each other, beautiful things can happen.
Can I just say
hey
one
Murray,
thing?
what do you think went wrong last year? Like, what needs to change?
It was there. It caused a lot of. There was a lot of butting heads with the front office. The locker room was frustrated. Zimmer and Spillman weren't getting. No one was getting along, and so I feel bad for a
Sure.
lot of these star players. But I think it's gonna be good for the culture. He's played in the NFL. He's gonna be able to relate to players. He's evolved with the game, so we're not gonna have a grumpy old man coaching.
You know, it's funny because I said this the other day when I was talking about the Knicks coach, and I said, like, you never see Tom Thibodeau smile. You see Steve Kerr smile. Even Greg Popovich, who was ornery, he's smiling even though his team's losing. Every one of these guys, whether from the Shanahan mold, from the McVay mold, they're all smiling. I mean, have you ever seen Mike Zimmer smile on the sideline? He just looks like a bitter, angry man, right?
Right, correct. So I just think it was time. It wasn't working. I'm not mad at him, but the last 2 seasons, he's just been like, he was on his way out in general. So
New voice,
new
needed.
voice, new era. With Kirk Cousins, what we're either gonna get a quarterback, so like I just mentioned, we're gonna either get a quarterback like a bridge quarterback, and then that will lead to maybe Kellen Mond in a couple of years after he's developed. But I say finish out Kirk's contract and let's see what he does under our new coach.
You know,
George,
from
you
the
know him
outside
very
looking in, it seems like the players just tuned out Zimmer. Like the message was done. I mean, we
unhappy.
saw here, yeah, we saw that here. That's when Pat Riley left. The Lakers started tuning him out at the end.
It was this year. You saw all the Viking games; they were close. It was our defense giving up so many points. We could have been in the playoffs. We should have been in the playoffs.
Should have been in the playoffs.
So, George, you know this guy. You've seen him first. Amarie, people are telling me, be careful when you're moving because your microphone keeps hitting. So,
hi. Sorry. I'll unplug my microphone.
George, what can Amarie expect from this guy? You know him, obviously. And are you concerned moving forward that everyone from the McVay tree is now leaving the Rams?
No, I think it's a compliment that people under the McVay tree or other teams are looking out for, wanting them because they see what McVay does. The thing with O'Connell, McVay calls the plays here. We know that, but he was the red zone coordinator. He basically, or he scripted the red zone plays, or he'll script the first 15 plays, what they were looking to run based on down and distance. So he's heavily involved in the game plan. So you guys are going to get, like I say, you're getting a tremendous coach. I kind of wish he would have stayed, but I understand it. Hey, it's a great opportunity. It's an advancement, and it's a compliment to, and I'm going to go a little bit further back. This is a Mike Shanahan tree, really.
Yeah,
if you think about
exactly.
It.
Yeah,
It's Mike Shanahan and McVay, Kyle Shanahan. They put their own twist to it, and it's going to continue. Shanahan lost McDaniel. He went to the head coach of Miami now. And we're going to see this even the Rams, they lost their defensive back coaches, now the new defensive coordinator in Denver. So it's every year McVay is going to lose, but he knows who to bring in to fit what he likes, how the Rams like to run their organization.
But just think about this, right? Zach Taylor for Cincinnati was under Sean McVay. Matt LaFleur under Sean McVay. I can't stand him. I'm not even going to say his name with the Chargers, but Sean McVay. So you're looking at 4 head coaches now, 5, who Sean McVay, the head coach of the Rams, what is he? He's still under 40, right?
And he's 36, just turned 36 last week.
I mean, Sean McVay's tree, everyone just keeps plucking these people, and they've all been pretty successful.
Yeah, is the thing, like, they pluck coaches, but he knows who to replant. He knows who to bring in. And I'll give him credit with that. Him, Les Snead, they know the coaches they need to replace the ones they're going to lose. I think they're already thinking ahead. I know they're already looking who's going to be our next OC. Are they going to promote within? Or are they looking elsewhere?
And one of the things I love what Sean McVay said last year, they were talking about people who leave, and he says, I tell all my coaches, if you're not getting offered a job in 3 years, I'm not going to be happy. He understands that.
The only thing he did last year is, and I'll say his name, Staley wanted to take O'Connell as his OC to the Chargers, and he blocked that lateral move. He goes, I'm not letting you go there. You're staying with me. So he did block it last year. He had a chance to go be the OC with the Chargers this year, and McVay put a stop to that.
All right, Brad, let's talk about your team. Listen, a lot of people are going to blame Baker Mayfield. It's not all on him, but you're the general manager right now. Put your general manager cap on, and let's be honest. It was a disappointing season after the year before where they really played well. I do like your head coach. Obviously, there was a lot of injuries, a lot of things that go wrong. What do they need to do to improve this team that when you look at it now, I don't know what the Steelers are going to do. I hope they're not going with Mason Rudolph, but you look at a healthy Lamar Jackson, you look at a healthy Joe Burrow, this division is now going to be very good. And for whatever you want to say about the Steelers quarterback, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Where do you go from here if you're the Browns?
Yeah, division is all 4 teams are going to be very good, I think, moving forward, depending on what the Steelers do at quarterback. But like you said, they find a way. So Baker, we'll start with Mayfield, right? He's the point of contention and a lot of controversy in this town right now. It's all that people want to talk about, really, And it's very annoying for me, I think. I think you're going to hear a lot of rumors, right? I think that, honestly, the way Andrew Berry thinks and the way that, Paul DePodesta think in the front office and Stefanski is that they're going to do their due diligence and see what's out there, right? Because they feel like the roster they have is very good, right? And they underperformed this year. And I think it's a good roster as well. But they will, I think after a lot of rumors and a lot of hearsay, you're going to end up with Baker Mayfield back on his 5th-year deal, which they already extended to him. It's only like $18 million or whatever, which is cheap compared to what a long-term deal would cost. And I think because you saw him play 10 games of really good football the year before, 2 good games to start the season, got hurt, and then very poor the rest of the way, I think what you end up finding out is that they're going to run it back with a healthy Mayfield. I think what you have to do, though, is you can't have Case Keenum as your backup anymore. It needs to be a younger option with some upside. Not saying it's like Mitchell Trubisky is the answer, but someone like that, a guy maybe with a second chance and some upside as a backup in case it all goes to hell with Mayfield. I don't think it will.
Maybe Marcus Mariota?
Something like that. Yes, exactly. So in case it all goes to hell, you have someone to go to that has some upside, or even somebody like in later round in the draft. You can take somebody even if you want to. Yeah. But I still believe Mayfield can be the guy personally. I've seen it in long stretches, so I think we can see it again, and I think it was a mental thing and an injury thing this year. It was just a tough year for him all around.
Brad, what's the identity of this team? Are they a running team or are they a throwing team?
It's a run-first team.
Okay.
For sure, and their
Chubb
defense.
Yeah,
and their defense should be very good, as they were elite down the stretch last year. A lot of key players. So if we look at the offseason, like key signings, I think you'll see is they're going to try really hard to bring back Jadeveon Clowney. I think on a 1-year deal, he did really well. His best year he's had in a while, across from Garrett. So I think they'll try hard to re-sign him. I think they're going to look to extend Njoku and Denzel Ward this offseason. I think you see Case Keenum cut, J.C. Treader cut. I think they'll try to restructure Jarvis Landry's contract. I don't know how that'll work out. Go ahead.
Brad, I was going to say, you look at all the rookie wide receivers with Chase, Jefferson 2 years ago. If I'm Cleveland and they have such a deep roster, I'm going heavy wide receiver in the draft. Get some more playmakers around Baker. Am I wrong for saying that?
No, absolutely not. That is need number one. So that wide receiver room, Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, has some upside. They have Anthony Schwartz, who has some upside. But beyond that, I think they kind of need to remake that room a little bit. I think Jarvis would be okay to have back because he's such a good leader and does everything well. If you can get him back, but it's not like make or break. They're at a point where I feel good about their culture either way, whether he's there or not, even though I think he was the catalyst to help to start turn this all around. But I think they go at 13. I think they go wide receiver. I think I like the London kid. There's going to be somebody there with
Yeah.
a lot of talent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I saw a mock draft where they had Cleveland, London going to Cleveland with the 13th pick. That'd be a hell of a pickup for you guys.
Yeah, and I think they also go. There's going to be there's a lot of wide receivers in free agency, so I think they can add some depth there with like a mid-level wide receiver that I think they bring in to kind of maybe fit what they do a little bit more. The Browns' passing offense is a lot based on timing and whatnot, and I think that's kind of the issue you ran into with Beckham. Like you see him excelling in the Rams. I think I've talked about this before, but the Rams are using him in a way where different than the Browns. And, they're running him on normal routes, like, base routes where they might be doing something exotic around him, but they're running him on crosses and 9 routes and out routes where the quarterback can see him break out of his route and see ball, throw ball, where a lot of the stuff they did in Cleveland was timing based and they just never got on the right page. Well, when you don't have time for that, you have to be smart like McVay's doing and run stuff that the quarterback and the wide receiver have repped 1,000 times, no matter if it's with this quarterback or not. And it's just, he can see it and throw a ball instead of all that timing stuff that Stefanski tried to run. It just didn't work.
Well, and I will say this too, I look at someone like Jarvis Landry. I mean, obviously his career's not as good, but as like a Steve Smith now, like a veteran who can show wide receivers how to work out, how to watch film. Steve Smith was kind of had an attitude, but as you look at him later on in his career, he really mentored a lot of wide receivers. That's why I re-signed Jarvis Landry. He could still be productive, but just for his leadership, if you're going to go heavy in the wide receiver draft, you need a veteran leader there.
Totally agree. I would love to keep him around. I think he's the heart and soul of the team and has been for years. He just kind of changed the culture completely there, and he got a bad rap in Miami. He's a very, very good leader and does everything right on the field. He's a guy that run blocks, plays hard, 150% on every single play. So he is the leader that they need to keep around, and I would love to see him back on a restructured deal.
Okay, forget about what the writers say here, George. How the hell is Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor not Coach of the Year and MVP? Joe Burrow averaged more than 30 games. I said this on my TikTok video. I said, look, for Aaron Rodgers, did they overachieve? They were in a division with the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings. They didn't overachieve. And to prove my point, I know they do not vote after the season is over, but the Packers lost to the 49ers. Joe Burrow, no one had them winning the AFC North. They go in and they beat the number 1 seed in Coach of the Year in Tennessee Titans. Then they go to Kansas City and win. How are these two not Coach of the Year and MVP? They got robbed.
Well, I'll agree with you in regards to Coach Taylor. I thought he should have got Coach of the Year. I mean, he did 2 years ago they had the number 1 pick, and now they're in the Super Bowl. Yeah. I know he's got a losing record as overall in his 3 years in Cincinnati, but he's a hell of a coach, and he proved it this year. Regarding Joe Burrow, I think he should have been given consideration for the MVP, a serious consideration, because I think he had a tremendous year. But I don't know. I don't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers getting it, because I thought this was probably his best regular season. What he did in the playoffs didn't surprise me, because he sometimes does disappear in the playoffs.
11-10 in the playoffs. I'm done with him, by the way.
Well, I think everybody's pretty much done with him.
And let me just say, it has nothing to do with him not getting the vaccine. I could care less about that.
It has nothing to do with that. It's just
he's just 11-10 in the playoffs, man. I'm done with it. You cannot lose a home playoff game as the number 1 seed.
Amarie is living that record there.
You can't do it. You can't score 10 points at home if you're Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to put it this way for people here that watch baseball.
Amarie's
The Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are the NFL's version of the 1990s Atlanta Braves.
Yeah. Or I'll say the Marty Schottenheimer coach teams, where they're going to win you 12 to 14 games during the regular season, and they're not advancing in the playoffs.
Well, the difference between that is at least Schottenheimer never had an elite quarterback. He got Montana at the end of his career. He never had an elite quarterback, and he still was successful. I thought he did I thought his best job was in Cleveland compared to Kansas City.
Well, and when the Chargers, I think, went 14-2 that year, they lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, they fired him. Yeah.
They fired him. Okay, so Amarie, there's been so much talk about the referees and replay. One rule change you could make in the NFL going into next year, what's it going to be? she on mute again?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't hear you. Nope.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you can.
That's so weird. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Sorry, guys. Everyone's upset about the overtime rule. I think if it's like your team doesn't win, but I was debating whether I wanted to change the overtime rule. But I think you should. Teams are complaining, but I think you should win the game. Don't take it to overtime. You had 60 minutes to win the game before.
George agrees with you. He said this 2 weeks ago.
Like you had 60 minutes to win the game, like whatever. But I think the refs did a better job in the playoffs. I'm fine with all the rules. I don't need no rules changes. Like,
Okay.
you know,
Brad,
maybe Aaron Rodgers gets less, calls and these star players.
Yeah, I want a lot of role
The
changes.
average player gets some calls, some Brady calls, some Roger calls.
Oh, that's twice that name was mentioned. I was hoping we weren't going to have that name mentioned today.
What, Tom Brady today? It's a
that's
Tom
three.
Brady.
This is the end of the show. We want one Super Bowl show without his name.
Okay, before Brad says it, what's the over under? How many times Collinsworth is going to mention his name today?
Oh, Chris loves him.
I have it at 10.
I think he'll mention Rodgers too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that should be a prop bet. How many times Collinsworth brings up his name?
I think there is.
Here's a prop bet. How many times has Chris Collinsworth? I like 3 weeks in a row. I recorded him saying things. He used this analogy one time. He goes, watching him play, it's like watching a kid chase ice cream. You go to get the ice cream, and then you don't have any money. And I was like, is he high right now? Is he drunk? What's he doing? What are you talking about? Chris Collinsworth, watch him. I will send it to our group chat. He's going to say something, and I'm going to record it, and you're going to be like, is this grandpa in the home just spewing off something that no one knows what the hell he's talking about?
Sort of.
Brad, what is your rule change?
All right, so you said I could have a couple now.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to use Amarie's. First of all, overtime, each team should be required to touch the ball no matter what, right? And I get your guys' point, but let's just make a small tweak and say even if a team drives down the field and scores a touchdown, the other team should get a chance to get the ball and answer that touchdown after that sudden death. It will automatically change strategy going into overtime and going for two. So it'll take care of itself, right? I talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It'll actually in turn kind of shorten the game because teams won't want to do that. That you'll see teams going for two even more at the end of regulation if they think they're at any disadvantage going into an overtime like that. So I think each team should be guaranteed to touch the ball.
That's a great rule change.
That's
I
point
agree
one.
with you.
I would like to expound upon the Sky Judge rule where if there is a clear and present, out of bounds, whatever, not a touchdown, short of the first down, the spot's off by 1.5 yards. They did it some this year, but they need to expound upon that and give that guy more up in the tower, the Sky Judge, whatever, more power. Buzz the official and say, you got it wrong, spot the ball at the 43 now, instead of going to look at it and do this, da-da-da-da-da. It should save time, not stop momentum, and that guy should have more power, right? I know you can't, there are certain calls that you can't, are just always going to be judgment calls, pass interference, things like that, right? But, there are obvious out-of-bounds, inbound spot calls that can be immediately decided by the guy upstairs and not stop play. And they did it some this year. You heard them, right? Like, okay, this is this. We change it. They just need to do that more and keep the game going. Finally, I would agree with you, Monte. I think you made a great point. And pass interference should not be a spot foul in the NFL anymore. It's just unfair, right? Like you're getting a lot of bailout calls. 4th and 10, throwing the ball up. It happened to the Browns like 20 times this year.
Yeah.
Where a quarterback was about to get sacked, he just threw it up in the air, and they call some bogus pass interference call, which isn't pass interference. And they get 50 yards. I mean, it's absurd, right? So, give them 15 yards and a first down, whatever. But I think there should be some strategy. Like if a corner falls down and he can reach out and trip the wide receiver to save a touchdown, then he should be able to do that, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
save
it's
a
too
touchdown.
much. Too many times I've seen them. They throw a 40-yard pass, and it's a spot foul right there. George, we'll get to your rule change. I just have one, and it's simple. Each coach gets 3 challenges, but everything could be challenged. Don't tell me that it's an obvious turnover, but no, they can't review that because it's not Bill Belichick said this like 2 years ago. He goes, anything I want to challenge should be challengeable. So you give them 3 red flags, they throw them out, not 4, just 3 for the game. And that's it. Because right now, everything's turnovers are reviewable, and all touchdowns are automatically reviewable. So everything should be able to throw a challenge flag. Go ahead,
What if they blow the play dead though? That's like the one thing.
Yeah, if they blow the play dead, then there's nothing you could do because the play is dead. That's just a referee mistake. There's nothing you could do. You can't challenge a play that's been blown dead. All right, George, you have any rule changes?
Yeah, I kind of I'm on the same boat as Brad regarding the overtime rule with just a little tweak. And I agree if, say like today, it goes to overtime. The Cincinnati gets open kickoff on overtime, scores a touchdown. Rams be able to respond. I think the only way the game immediately stops on the first possession is if it's safety. Other than that, if a team scores a touchdown, the other team has a chance to respond, then it goes to sudden death.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's good. That's a good rule. Okay. So I posted a video on TikTok and it got a lot of views, which I'm very happy about because it was basically just saying, NFL, whatever you're doing with the Super Bowl, it's not working. Okay. The average ticket now is like $9,000. Okay. So here's what here's what each home team should do. Let's make this about the fans. Let's say each stadium can hold 70, 80, 90,000 people. You give 10,000 tickets in a raffle for the fans. So that means Cincinnati gets 10,000. The NFL covers it. They're making billions of dollars off the Super Bowl. Let's not kid yourself. Okay, the parking's $500. The concessions, the commercial, which people. I said this at work the other day, and I didn't realize how funny it sounded. I said normally during a football game, people go to pee during the commercial. People go to pee during the Super Bowl during the game because they want to see the commercials and the halftime show. So what I'm saying is NFL, give each home team, the Bengals get 10,000 fans in a raffle, the Rams get 10,000 fans in a raffle, all expense paid, you send those fans. And if it's not 10,000, make it 5,000. But let the average guy who has a family of 4 who can never see a Super Bowl, make it about the fans. And if you're worried that they're going to mingle with the top 1% of the world who's going to the Super Bowl, give them their own section. Let them enjoy it. Brad, how do we make the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the World Series more affordable? Because let's be honest, it's turning into a corporate party.
So, like, I did a little research on this question, right? And basically what you're proposing is basically what they do now. They take the majority of tickets for the Super Bowl are given to the 2 teams that make it, and then season ticket holders are given an opportunity to buy the tickets at face value. The problem is that you will never change with this is the guy that has season tickets, no matter how much he loves his team, can then turn around and sell that $800 ticket for, 3 times that. And they're going to do that, because it's more important to pay rent or buy a new couch than it is to go to the Super Bowl. Right. So that's just kind of, that's hard. You're never going to find a workaround on that.
And Brad, most people I know don't have season tickets, but they'll sacrifice and take their kids to a game, one game per year.
Sure,
and my whole thing is I don't want to reward the season ticket holders because they're making enough money because they aren't cheap. I want to reward the guy who watches every game religiously with his family on his couch. George, you've been to 3 Rams games this year, so let's calm down.
Yeah, but I'm not paying those absurd prices. I'm sitting up in the high sections for those games.
But you still went to 3 Rams games. Good for you. I'm not mocking it. But, yeah, you're an example of someone who would benefit if they gave a raffle and all expenses paid. You live in L.A., so it's not. But I'm saying, like.
So you're saying outside of the season ticket holders.
100%. The average fan doesn't have season tickets.
If I wanted to go to this game, because my youngest son, Ramon, is a Ram fan. Right. If I wanted to take him to this game, just him and I, just average price alone for the tickets, including fees, would have cost me $20,000, and that's not even including parking. If you want to get a tailgate at the game, the parking pass for the tailgate is $1,000.
Yeah.
George, how much are your USC tickets that you get? Those aren't super expensive, right?
For the season, this coming season, it's like $550, and that's
what is that? 5 games?
6-7 games.
6-7 games. So that's not bad. That's not bad. It's less than $100 per game.
Yeah, I think the average price is usually like $67 a game.
That's not bad.
For UCLA and Notre Dame, the ticket price goes up to like $100, I believe.
Okay.
But those are the only 2 games where those prices go up.
Monty, you can save money being a Jets fan. Those tickets are pretty cheap.
I won't go to those games. I won't go to them.
StubHub right now, the cheapest ticket on StubHub right now for the game today is like $3,500.
Oh, the price came down.
All right, but of course they're going to keep going down because people are going to get
That's like section 547, upper corner, probably behind a pole and 7 obese people, and then top
if you take a family of 4, that's $14,000.
Right. I did go to the wild card game against Arizona.
Yeah. Parking.
Yeah, and I got tickets in the 5. I think I was in section 524, up high. I paid $84 a ticket.
That's not bad.
When they played San Francisco for the NFC Championship, I looked in the same section. $84 went up to $550, and that wasn't on StubHub. That was through Ticketmaster. That was face value.
Yeah, I agree with Greg. I really, we got to stop catering to the top 1%. All right, Amarie, let's move forward here. You're taking one quarterback over the next 5 years. Why do I have a feeling you're going to take Joe Burrow and not my boy Justin Herbert?
Hey, out of all 3 of those are the options?
Out of any quarterback you want over the next 5 years.
Hey, Marie, Monte needed an excuse to have Justin Herbert's picture pop up today.
Oh, because that's Monty's boy, man.
My boy,
that's his NFL bromance.
He's definitely not the answer here, Monty. He's not the answer here.
Okay, who do you got, Amarie?
See what happens with Kirk Cousins with this new coaching era. And then I will keep him for a couple more years.
Wow.
And then it'll be Kellen Mond time. I do have a feeling that you get the right coach in there, it could happen. I'm not saying everyone calm down. I know everyone judges Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins can do a good job, especially with this coach. Let's just see what happens. And then if not, maybe get Aaron Rodgers for a year, and then it's Kellen Mond time. And then start rebuilding. I don't know.
So, but I'm saying if you were starting a team, what young quarterback would you be taking?
Oh, I thought you meant like realistically.
No. This is fantasy world.
I like Burrow. I'm gonna go with Burrow.
Okay, Brad, who you going with?
Josh Allen.
Sorry, I love Josh Allen too, though. Oh man.
George?
It's a coin toss between Burrow and Josh Allen. I would lean towards Josh Allen right now.
Okay, so you guys you guys are not giving my boy any credit, by the way.
No, and that's it's no disrespect to Herbert. It's just I like Herbert's game. I get to see it out here in LA, but I don't know. There's something about Josh Allen, and I call Burrow this generation's Joe Cool.
I like him a lot.
I think phenomenal. I think he could be the next. He'll never. I don't think he'll ever be as great as him, but I think he could be another Joe Montana.
By the way, thank you. Wow, I don't know if I'm real. Greg agrees with me for once. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, he never agrees with me. All right. So, listen, if Joe Burrow has a chance right now, and people may not know this, he could be the only quarterback in the history to win a Heisman, a national championship, and a Super Bowl. And let's face it, if they win the Super Bowl, he's probably going to be the MVP. So this guy over the last 2 years is like the ultimate rock star. Okay, Brad, here we go. If you're taking one running back over the next 5 years,
I get this question now.
Where are you going?
Where's Jonathan Taylor?
So yeah.
Good answer. Good, Amarie.
That's
my pick.
That's who I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna say Jonathan Taylor.
That's my pick.
I would say that it would have been Christian McCaffrey, but he just cannot stay healthy for his life, so you can't do it, right? In today's NFL, if the guy, fantasy land, if you could make him, injury-proof, it would certainly be him, right? But I think after that, it has to be Jonathan Taylor after this season. The only thing he doesn't do well, as I was kind of like looking at this, doing research for the show, and looking at some PFF grades and stuff like that, the one thing that they kind of knock on him that he doesn't do as well as some other guys that he could. He's not. I mean, he's a good receiver out of the field, but he's not the best
great.
receiver.
Right.
Like even Nick Chubb had a better receiving grade than him, and he's not a great receiver either, right? But like pass blocking, for some reason, he had a really low grade. But as far as right now, I think he's the pick. But if you had to go like, and I know he's young, he's like what, 24 or something like that, 22, 24. Anyways, if you had to go like rookie, like, younger than that, I really like Cam Akers a lot. I really like Elijah Mitchell a lot, like as guys that are coming onto the scene. Elijah Mitchell is going to be a stud, I think.
Amarie, hands down, you're saying Jonathan Taylor?
And I'm with Brad. I love Dalvin Cook so much. He's just an injury-prone running back as well. And I know these running backs have a short shelf life, but yeah, JT all the way.
Really? Wow.
And that's what makes my household happy.
I thought you guys would be on board with me. I mean, he only got injured once. I would take Derrick Henry. How do you not take him, George?
I'm sorry. I think I'm with Brad and Amarie. I would actually take Jonathan Taylor.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of Derrick Henry. It's just the style of running he has. Eventually, that body's going to break down.
Okay, but listen, he only got hurt this year.
Back.
He hasn't been hurt. He hasn't been hurt, reliable.
But eventually that body is going to break. It's going to break
How
down.
How old is he? That's the only thing that took.
He's mid-20s. I know
28. 28-year-old running back takes him off the table for me.
Yeah, his body's going to break down a lot faster than Jonathan Taylor's.
Right. Yeah, he's 28. He's 28. Okay, wide receiver, I'm going with Devontae Adams. I'm sure you're probably going to go with Cooper Kupp. Who do you got here, George?
Yeah, you would think I would go with Cooper Kupp, and yeah, I am, because he can give you so much. He's a great route runner. He's got terrific hands. He understands how to break down a defense. The secondary, whoever's going to guard him. But believe it or not, it was a toss-up between him and Justin Jefferson.
Whoa,
as much as I hate the Vikings, I love watching Jefferson play.
Damn, George, why you gotta hate us, man?
Well, because his son.
No. I grew up in the 70s watching the Rams, so it was either Dallas or the Vikings who knocked the Rams out of the playoffs. So those are the first two teams I hated, and it just stood with me. But I hate the teams, but I'll respect the players.
We can make the argument here too that Deebo Samuel, he
now
plays running back. Amarie, would you pick Deebo? Or you pick Justin?
I'm torn. I'm gonna stick with Justin Jefferson, but Deebo Samuel, man, that guy can do it all. I mean, and he's a great weapon. So mine's tied between Justin and Deebo Samuel, but I'm sticking with my boy JJ, homer pick.
All right, Brad, who do you got?
Here's the thing, like, I love Deebo Samuel, but I don't think you can account for his abilities as a running back, because if he's on a team with a good running back, then he doesn't need to run the football. So we're talking about a wide receiver here, not a running back, right?
Right.
So I don't think you can really account for that in the equation. I actually would probably take somebody that's not even up there, maybe Jamar Chase, I think.
Oh, very nice pick.
In the thing with Deebo Samuel, what they did with him this year, as well with Patterson in Chicago, that's something new. Yeah. Defenses always adjust to the new thing. Like the Wildcat pretty much is come and gone. How are they going to adjust to it next year? Will it be as effective as it was this year?
Yeah, I think it was Atlanta that used Patterson, right? You said Chicago, Atlanta, and Deebo,
Atlanta, yeah.
They got hurt and they just used him as a running back position. But yeah, it's hard to go against Jeffrey. It's hard to go against any of these guys, really.
Yeah, they're all great. All great.
Well, you know what? Tyreek Hill wouldn't even have made my consideration. I think he's a great receiver, but I would have put him up there.
But that guy's so fast, it's ridiculous.
That's all he is. He's fast, but he has days where he disappears.
Yeah. Okay, before we get to the prediction of this show and the Super Bowl, Amarie, let's start with you. What's the tradition here for you? What do you do Super Bowl? What's the food? What's the drink? Where are you watching the game?
I'm watching it at home, and now working full-time in media. I wasn't sure if people need me all throughout the day today. Like you guys. But Kyle and I are going to go to the store after this and stock up on some food and beer. And we've already gambled. So it's usually get up, gamble, make food, watch game. But I like being home because I like watching the game. Super Bowl parties are fun, but I like to be home and,
And who? Don't give us your prediction yet. Who are you and Kyle rooting for?
It's kind of more of like our picks, though. I think why
Gambling picks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm going for the Rams, and he's going for the Bengals.
Okay. All right. Brad, what do you do for Super Bowl? Do you go out? Do you get together with people? What's the little tradition here?
No. Yeah, I did. I used to. I will not today or the past few years. I'll just watch it with my son in the living room.
You do any food?
Yeah, of course, food. Yeah, we'll probably order some food and have some chip dip, chips, whatever. Just hanging out, watching the game.
Low key.
Very low key. I used to do it up big, but in my elder years here, I'm just hanging out with
Skyline chili over there in Ohio.
Skyline chili. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but that's a Cincinnati thing. And,
I know.
And, fuck them. So
what? Wow, Brad dropping F-bombs out of nowhere. Whoa.
Not the F-bomb.
All right, George, this is obviously the biggest moment for you. You predicted that the Rams would go to the Super Bowl in my preseason show. Where you watching it? I know you're in group chats with so many people, including me, Rico, and Levi. What is your family doing? How are you celebrating this Super Bowl?
Well, every year, every Super Bowl, I always watch the game with my dad, regardless who's playing. But this year is even more special because my dad introduced me to the Rams in the 70s. I became a Ram fan because of my dad. He was a big Ram fan. So it's extra special to be able to watch our LA Rams play in a Super Bowl in LA, chance to become the second LA NFL team to win a Super Bowl. We know right now the Raiders can hold that over us. And now my younger son, Ramon, he's a Ram fan. So we're going to have 3 generations of LA Ram fans watching the game. Like I said, this one is when they played a couple years ago against New England, I got real emotional. I actually started crying before the game because it hit me. I'm watching the Rams play in the Super Bowl as the LA Rams with my dad again. I never thought we were going to see that when they moved to St. Louis. So, this one means a lot to me. Being able to watch it with my dad and my son. We're not cooking. Last night. We ordered from this barbecue place. So we ordered ribs, tri-tip, brisket.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Yeah, we're gonna do barbecue today. So I'm hoping that the tri-tip and brisket are as good as my friend Petey's, the guy who cooks at the USC game for us, because he does a tremendous job when he barbecues. If it comes anywhere close to his stuff, we're gonna have some good food today. The drinking, I don't know yet. Depending on how nervous I am, there may be some adult beverages going down my throat.
In the Super Bowl, you're not drinking?
It depends. I'm leaning towards it right now, but if I get extremely nervous, then I'm probably going to have a couple because I know my brother's my brother will be there, so I'll probably have a couple beers with my brother watching the game. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. My brother's a Raider fan, but it's cool to be able to watch it with him as well.
I'm not drinking. I don't drink when I have to work the next day, so my only day that I really drink is like Friday. So being the loser, I actually went. It was pouring rain here. I did some walking because we're gonna eat. My sister's cooking up a storm, so appetizer. So I'm gonna eat so much today. So the jog was basically a wash. All right, but nobody cares about me and what I'm doing. George, break this game down. Who wins and why?
Well, I've always told people, and I've said this on the show: when you make picks, you got to pick with your head, not your heart. This one was a hard one for me to do because part of it's a hard pick, part of it's monetary because, yes, I did predict the Rams were going to go to the Super Bowl in the preseason, and I placed a bet on the Rams to win the Super Bowl, so I'm looking money-wise. I want them to win. It's going to come down to the defensive lines, I think. What's concerning me, the biggest matchup I'm really looking at is Andrew Whitworth against Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson is a beast, and I think he is going to get to Stafford a couple times today. You're not going to rattle Joe Burrow with a pass rush. The Rams will get to him. Look for Leonard Floyd to have a big game today. He's going to have, I think, at least 2.5 sacks.
I'm so excited for you, George.
Everyone is.
Yeah, Cincinnati's right offensive line Brad, you can speak on this. They're very weak on the right side. I think Leonard Floyd's going to get to Burrow, but the Rams are going to have to contain Joe Mixon. Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, they're going to get their receptions. And I think the Rams are going to have to run the hell out of the ball. I'm hoping to see the same game plan they did against Arizona in the wildcard game. Yep. If Stafford could throw 25 or less, and they can run the way they did against Arizona, and no turnovers, because Cincinnati, they've done a tremendous job adjusting at halftime with their defense. I'm expecting they made Patrick Mahomes look like a JUCO rookie.
He scored 3 points in the second half.
He looked like a guy who just came out of junior college. Yeah, I've never seen him look that confused when they started dropping 8 and 9.
He looked like Cliff Kingsbury was coaching him back in Texas Tech.
Yeah, if they do that if they start dropping 8 and 9, then they got to run the ball. I'm looking for Cam Akers to go for at least 90 yards today on the ground.
Okay, Amarie, you're putting on your jacket. You have to obviously go shopping.
No, I also was cold for some reason, and I had to throw some stuff for George. I gotta rep.
Amarie, who wins and why? Who do you like in this game?
For my wallet, I like the Rams. No, okay. No. I really like the Rams in this game. They went all in. I don't think, George, you have a draft pick for like 30 years. I'd be happy to say, as an NFC North girl, I love Matthew Stafford. I never had a problem with him. I felt bad for him. And they're the more veteran, experienced team in that defensive line. I just think it's the Rams' year. Picking the Rams. I didn't touch the spread. I didn't like the -4. But I did pick the money line, and I picked the over 49 points.
It's funny because
the Bengals are going to have sorry, Brad. They're a good young team. They're going to be fine. They'll have their.
If you're a Detroit Lions fan, how do you not root for Matthew Stafford? He gave you everything.
Come on.
You got to root for him.
Yeah. Someone brought up when I did a preview show with Nuts and Bolts Sports with Joe, Jeff, and Bill, and one of the questions they asked was like, what Super Bowl does this remind you of? And I think it was Joe brought up Super Bowl 19, San Francisco and Miami, the upstart, Dan Marino, second year in the Super Bowl. And when Amarie just brought up that Cincinnati's a young team that she should be back. Marino never went back to a Super Bowl after that game.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
All right, Brad.
I didn't give you my score because I do have a score.
I think you told me already.
Yeah, I've texted. I have it 28-24 Rams.
Brad, what do you got?
A nerve-wracking game, but I have the Rams.
Money, buddy.
I hate the Bengals. But I understand. Joe Burrow is very good, and
you don't hate Joe Burrow, right? You just hate the team.
No, I like Joe Burrow. I just hate the Bengals. So, people don't understand why I can't People are idiots. They're like people are like they're an Ohio team.
Yeah,
they're their rivals. You moron! You're from Cleveland, not Cincinnati. That's basically Kentucky down there.
Hey, Brett, are you still upset about when Sam Weiss got on the mic that day and he was telling the fans,
my God, what an asshat!
I can't believe he actually had the stones to do that.
Well, is that when he said, "Show some class"? We're not in Cleveland or something.
We're not in Cleveland. Yeah.
I remember that. All right, Brad. So give us a prediction, a score here.
I have the Rams. Either way, unbiased, right? I have the Rams 31-24.
All right, I have the Rams winning 34-26. I mean, look, let's be honest here. If Tennessee can sack Joe Burrow 9 times, by the way, give all the credit in the world to Joe Burrow. He got sacked 9 times. He didn't fumble the ball once. Yeah. So this guy is beyond poised. But I think Von Miller, I think the line, I think they really get to him. I think it's going to be a competitive game. And I think in the third and fourth quarter, the Rams pull away with the Bengals scoring late. I have the Rams winning 34-26.
I hope it's a competitive game, but a bigger point difference because honestly, the last 3 games, my nerves can't. The last 2 games, my nerves are shot.
Yeah. That Tampa Bay game was insane.
Tampa Bay, my nerves are shot. I would love the game they have it. Not coasting, but I don't see it happening. Blow them out. Make it. Do what Montana did to to Elway.
Steve Young. What Steve Young did to the Chargers was it 55?
Montana did that to Denver 55-10. I would love to see that. Just let my nerves be calm for one game. But I know that's not going to happen.
Here's what I'm going to say. You've tasted winning. The Dodgers won. Like I said, the Lakers won. Just enjoy it, man. This is what I say as a fan all the time. Whether it's college football, my Oregon Ducks, keep me invested to December. When I'm a Jet fan, keep me invested till Christmas. Like you are playing in the last week of the year as Minnesota fan, Jet fans, Packers, Browns. You already won, George.
No, I haven't. They haven't hoisted
So
Lombardi in
spoiled.
23 years.
All
It's
right.
been
To
23
get there
years
and
that
lose
they-
would be brutal, Monty. You got to win it once you're
Yeah.
there.
Exactly. You know, and I always say there's only one team in every sport that has a great year, and that's the team that wins it all. Rams, if they lose today, they had an okay year. It wasn't a great year.
All
Yeah,
right.
the Jets haven't been to the Super Bowl since 1969, so I'm not agreeing with you on that point right there. Okay, you've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. Amarie, how can we follow you and support your career that is on the rise?
It's all so crazy. Thank you thanks you so much for having me on. I'm looking forward to it. George, good luck. And thank you for raising such a brilliant son as being a Vikings fan. You can follow me at Part-Time Bro on all social media. You can catch me on the opening drive on the Sports Animal. There's an app, iHeartRadio, however you listen to your radio, your shows. It's free. You can listen to it. It's a lot of fun. We talk about everything. Stand-up comedy is finally coming back. And I'll actually be at the NFL draft covering for my work and with the purple coat. So I'm very excited.
Very excited. Always a pleasure to have you on, and we're going to start doing NBA shows. So we'll have you on. We'll have you on. Enjoy the game. Hopefully, you win some money.
Hell yeah. We're
All
going to win.
right. People love Amarie. Always does a tremendous job. All right, Brad. What do you got coming up with your show? How many subscribers are you at now?
I'm at on YouTube. 1,850.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, we're coming back strong here on Thursday on All Eyes on Cleveland with our offseason roundtables. So it'll be all my guys over at the Browns Wire, where I write, USA Today Sports Media Group, and so they're going to join me for a roundtable, get this Super Bowl out of our system, all this Bengals nonsense out of our system, and look towards the off season here, as it should be an interesting one for Browns fans. And you can follow me on Twitter at Ward on Sports, and the show All Eyes on Cleveland. And as I said, I write at USA Today, the Browns Wire.
And by the way, Brad, no one takes advantage of our email group than I do with posting my videos every day. So thank you for creating that. I really appreciate. Are you getting annoyed every time you see a new video pop up?
Not at all. Not at all.
I appreciate it, Brad. We'll see
Of
you down
course.
the road for NBA chat.
Yes, absolutely. Go Cavs.
All right. How about Brad dropping the F-bomb out of nowhere?
Oh man, I think the last time I heard that on your show was Scooby did it.
Yeah, Alex
Yeah.
Scooby. But Alex Scooby, I think he does 10 per show. So that's the norm. All right, George. Again, people are rooting for you. They all want. But I got to agree with Andrea here, dude. Like, come on, man. You don't know what it's like to be a Knick and Jet and Met fan.
No, I'll agree. But in a sense with the Rams, yeah, because I've gone twice through 10-year periods where they just sucked.
But George, you've had the Lakers and Kobe and Shaq, and then Kobe again. You've had the Dodgers, who are always in the playoffs. It's not like being a Met, Jets, and Knick fan.
No, it's not. I have to agree to that. But LA is a city of champions, and the LA Rams have not won a Super Bowl.
They're going to win.
They
today.
won an NFL championship.
They're going to win today.
But they have yet to. Because I got friends that are Raider fans, and they'll tell me, "Yeah, you guys won in St. Louis, but only the Raiders have won a Super Bowl in LA." And I agree. So it's not that I'm a spoiled fan. Granted, okay, the Lakers, and we had some good run with the LA Kings earlier.
Oh God, when they beat my Rangers.
Oh, that was a hell of a series.
That was annoying. I think 3 of the 4 games went to overtime.
Yeah, but I still want to see the LA Rams win a Super Bowl. And like I said, and it's not being spoiled. If they could do it today, to watch it, like I said earlier, to watch it with my son Ramon, and to watch it with my dad, to watch our LA Rams win, that would mean the world to me.
Yeah,
that would be the
great.
highlight of being a Ram fan. I mean, I thought '99 when they won was awesome. This would top it.
George, even if they lose, it could be worse. You could be a Cowboy fan. So, let's be honest.
No, I don't know. I would rather sleep on a bed of hot smoking nails than even consider being a Cowboy fan. No offense, my brother in anger, but there's no way in hell I would ever be a Cowboy fan. Though them and the Vikings were the first two teams I grew up hating.
Yeah, because in the 70s and 80s, in the 70s, they were always competing against the Rams, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I respect the players on the team. The players, I hate the damn logos and the name.
I just can't. I can't deal with Jerry Jones as an owner. All right, George, listen. Rams are going to win. You're in good shape. Enjoy the day. Try not to be stressed out. Thank you so much. I'm sure I'm going to see you in a couple weeks on my show talking basketball and Dodgers.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, everyone enjoy the game. If you guys are going out to watch a game, everybody be safe and let's go Rams. I got one thing to say. Whose house?
There it is. That's awesome, George. Very good job. Good luck to you. I'll text you in a few. Thanks so much for taking the time out.
Oh, thank you for having me on, brother.
All right. So I want to thank Amarie. People love her. Brad's so funny. He really hates the Bengals. I'm going to have to ask him next time he's on the show. Hating the Bengals up until this point is really like if you're the Yankees hating the Mets. The Bengals have never, ever been a threat to Cleveland. Yes, they went to a couple Super Bowls back in the day, and thank you, Jose, for saying it's been a great show. But I don't understand where the hatred is. Like the Bengals, I mean, no one has taken the Bengals seriously for the last 20 years. Let's be honest. Even when Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, was their quarterback and they were making the playoffs, no one took them seriously, right? But I got to give credit to my brother and a couple other people who really said early on Joe Burrow's going to change this franchise around. And I will say this, I grew up a hockey fan, and I've used this analogy before. The New York Rangers did not win a Stanley Cup since 1940. Every time they'd lose in the playoffs, the opposing teams would yell 1940. Okay, it wasn't until Mark Messier came around and said, we're going to win. Now, Mark Messier came from the Edmonton Oilers and basically won 5 cups there, 4 with Wayne Gretzky, 1 by himself, and then came to the Rangers and they won a Stanley Cup and changed that franchise around. If Joe Burrow wins this year, build a statue of the guy, make him mayor of Cincinnati, because the Bengals are the cheapest organization in sports. I think it was up until 1990s. The players didn't even have water bottles during training camp. They'd have to drink out of a water fountain like it's 1950s. So if Joe Burrow can come in and change this team and they win a Super Bowl, beating the number 1 seed Tennessee Titans, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the high-powered superstar of LA Rams in LA, this guy's king of the world, and he's the best quarterback in the NFL if he does that. Over my boy, Justin Herbert. I want to thank everyone for watching. We will be off next Sunday, taking 1 week off. That's it. I know people get antsy when I don't have the Sunday show, but we will be taking 1 week off. We've been going since August every Sunday. Thank you for all the people who make this show possible. I really appreciate the support. Make sure to follow me on social media at Twitter, MonteJP231, on TikTok, Monte Perez 231. Again, we're at 250,000 views. Enjoy the game, everyone. And in the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. That will never be broken.
They hit great shots. Moved off. I think the Clippers have no identity.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction.